can't wait to see this one.
Of all the superstars on the roster, this guy is amongst the hardest working. That goes without saying.
Definitely shout out to Don Chaos. We know you got our back, and we got your back too, man. Denver, Colorado all day, brother. We're definitely going to hook up with you. Much love to CarnivalSpirits for putting us on as well on this YouTube, man.
Shout out to you, Don Chaos, for, what is this episode, like 126 or something like that?
Yes, sir.
You've been putting in work, bro. Respect. Y'all doing some shit for the community and the fam out there. Appreciate it. So just keep doing what y'all doing, you know what I mean?
Congrats to Don Chaos for 1,000 subscribers. Whoop, whoop.
Keep it going, man.
Congratulations, Don Chaos. Yes, keep it going, man. Good luck to you, fucking Don Chaos, and fucking hell yeah on your 1,000 fucking followers.
You know who it is. It's Ouija Mac, bitch. Shout out to CarnivalSpirits. And fucking shout out to Don Chaos one time. You know what's going on.
This is my brother. Everyone, Don Chaos and Brother Lynch Hung here.
Yeah, and CarnivalSpirits. What's up, man? Don Chaos. What's up? It's your boy Brother Lynch Hung. We out here tonight. Let's go.
Fuego Flames and my nigga Don Chaos. What's going on, B? It's my brother right here. My boy. Excuse the left. Excuse the left.
Yo, what up, y'all? This is Don Chaos, and I'm with a very legendary man. Go ahead and introduce yourself. Hey, Sean. Yeah, we at the gathering, y'all.
Podcast/radio show of the year. This one's always controversial. Coming in number one, we got Hours of Chaos with Don Chaos. Ooh, look at that. Ooh, there. Congratulations, man. Don Chaos, Hours of Chaos.
Yo, what the fuck is up, everyone? Y'all already know who this is. This is Mr. D to the O to the N to the C to the H to the A to the O to the S, your friendly neighborhood JUGGALO, the Karma Millionaire. If you don't know, now you know. And if you still don't know, chat, let them hear it. What is good, everyone? This is the Hours of Chaos podcast. This is episode 246, y'all. Holy fuck. 246 episodes, and this year we are going to be celebrating the Hours of Chaos podcast live for about 6 or 7 years. Like, holy shit, y'all. Yes, wearing that good Gloom Unit beanie. Shout outs to Acetone and Frankie Goldie. Matches this freshness right here. Of course, if you guys haven't, go pick up your copy right now. Got mine in. And not only do you get a beanie, but you get some fresh-ass Gloom Unit stickers, y'all. Because we all love stickers. I know I do. Fuck yeah. So, yeah. Gotta wear that purple because, you know, purple is one of my favorite colors because it's pimpin'. So, yeah. I see our guest is already in the green room, so let's just go ahead and get to the meat and potatoes. Please welcome, making his debut on the Hours of Chaos podcast, that motherfucker that we all love. Please welcome to the show, the one and only Humble Among.
Hey, what's up, Don? How you doing? Whoop, whoop. Motherfucker, that rather strong language to describe me. I was expecting a little bit more of a polite introduction, but I'll take motherfucker.
Hell yeah. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good. How you doing, Don?
I'm good. You know, the weather's been nice down here in Florida.
Not so much up here. It's been a shit show up here, Don. In Vermont, it's been snow, then rain, then the snow melts and turns into puddles of slush. It sucks, Don. It sucks. I need to get out of Vermont, Don.
Florida's actually not bad. Like I learned when I came here, I thought it was going to be bad, but I'm like, no, summer is the only time where it's miserable here. But then when it's like fall and winter, it's like warm here, but it's not like super humid. It only gets like in the 50s or 60s, so it's perfect.
Because y'all get that humid, wet, sticky hotness in the summer, huh?
Yeah, but every
I can
time
say that slower if you want to, by the way.
Yeah, but every time else down here, the weather is actually perfect.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Well, enough about the weather. Fuck the weather. Let's get to some juicy shit. What do we got tonight, Don?
Well, of course, for those that don't know who you are, which they should, give a little brief introduction who you are.
Well, if you don't know who I am the great, fabulous, fantastic Humble Among, the best juggalo who has ever lived. No, I'm just fucking around. I'm Humble Among. I do juggalo YouTube shit. I do a little bit of juggalo music shit, just all around jugging type shit. I do a lot of juggling, usually only 2 balls at once, if you know what I mean. But yeah, that's about my resume. What else, Don? What else do I do? I do gathering documentaries on my YouTube. I do Humble Among broadcast system, the #1 source in news in the Juggalodium. Yeah. Anything else? Did I forget anything?
Nope.
All right.
That's cool. So how long have you actually been like doing music?
Fuck, Don. For a really embarrassingly long amount of time. Since I was 13 or 14, when I got my first computer, I started fucking around with recording on it. So yeah, about 13 or 14 years old. Over 20 years. I'm old as fuck, Don.
Hell yeah, that's a long time. And what actually inspired you like to want to start writing music?
Specifically Eminem and the Insane Clown Posse, probably. There's this Eminem song called Brain Damage back in the day, right? And I heard Brain Damage and I was like, God damn, the storytelling. And I was in the ICP already at this point. But Brain Damage specifically was like, I don't know, he was talking about being a nerdy white kid who was into fucking comic books and getting his ass beat in school. Well, he wasn't into getting his ass beat in school, but that was part of the story. Anyway, comic books get mentioned anyway. I was big into comic books. I just thought the storytelling and the fact that, similar to ICP, Eminem wasn't really trying to embrace being cool necessarily. He was fine with telling you a story about, in fact, how uncool he was. He was getting the shit kicked out of him every day. I thought there was something different about that. And I obviously have the opinion, I've done a whole video about it, that the Slim Shady LP is actually secretly a Juggalo record in disguise.
I agree too, because you can see like a lot of like Juggalo wicked shit references. Like a lot of people don't realize he makes a Big Money Hustlers reference on that album.
Whoa, and wait, in Slim Shady LP.
Yes,
what's
like
the reference?
He talks about like hitting on like a heavy girl. He's like, I want to treat you to a Faygo and a slice of pizza.
Yeah,
now, what movie does that happen?
Yeah, that's right. So you think that's a Big Money Hustlers reference?
Yeah, he talks about hitting on a trailer park like heavy girl and treating her to a Faygo and a slice of pizza.
I never thought of it as a Hustlers reference. That's an interesting take, Don. I definitely noticed the Faygo reference though, and Faygo obviously is a shout out to Juggalo culture, because the only other rappers shouting out Faygo at the time were the Insane Clown Posse. Now the other really, really big one on that record, Don, is he name drops the creator of the Wicked shit on that record. Do you realize that?
Exactly. He's actually giving props. He's like, I'm a cross between Marilyn Manson and Esham.
I'm a cross between Manson, Esham, and Ozzy, he says.
Yeah.
So when, then that's not even we can get in even nerdier and talk about that's the beginning of the Eminem Esham beef, but it's really not, because Esham liked that reference. It was the next record where he says, I'm not acid rap, but I rap on acid. That Isham took offense to, and that really kicked off the whole beef. But anyway, enough about Eminem. Let's talk about Humble Among.
So yeah, how did you actually come up with like your name Humble Among, and did you go by like other names before you stuck with the one that you had?
Yeah, I definitely did. I went by Pug, P-U-G-G, back in the day. And I was on horrorcore.com sharing my music. That was the first incarnation of what you see now. I made really bad horrorcore music, really bad. Like, I couldn't stay on beat to save my life. In fact, I wasn't even trying to rap on beat. I would just sort of record the shit and throw it over a beat and hope for the best. That's how amateur hour we were fucking rolling with Pug back in the day. So that that eventually ended because the name just didn't work, man. Pug. I mean, a lot of people will tell me that Humble Among doesn't work anyway, but so after a while I wanted to change the name, and one time when I was really deep into a mushroom trip, there was like two phrases that kept like I kept going back to, you know. And I think on that trip we had done like a really corny thing of like, or at least I had done a really corny thing of like, I'm gonna bring the notebook and I'm gonna write notes about I'm gonna write a trip notebook. And so I did that, and the things that really came out of it though were this name Humble Among Kings, and then this other phrase, the answer is simpler than you think, which Humble Among Kings was the name that I went with for a while until I tried to sign on to Twitter, and that was too many characters. So I axed the Kings and I became Humble Among. And that's basically the story of Humble Among, because I figured if I'm just Humble Among, I can be humble among everything. I can be humble among anything, almost a fill in the blank type beat. I'm humble among fill in the blank. It was kind of how I was looking at it at the time. yeah. So that's the name.
Hell yeah. And you know, everyone likes to hear like people's Juggalo story or how they got into the wicked shit. So like, what was the first song that you were like remember hearing by ICP that like grasped your attention? You're like, what is this?
So I was a fan of the wicked shit before ICP. If you don't know, there's a song called "Nightmare on My Street" by Fresh Prince and DJ Jazzy Jeff. So I was aware of horrorcore, and I was even, you know, fucking with Thriller, Michael Jackson's Thriller, which I also consider a horrorcore record, oddly enough. But anyway, I'm just joking around. My first time I heard ICP was I was smoking, another drug story. I was smoking weed in my my best friend's sister's room with her and her sister, right? And we were listening to, you know, rap music of the time. And I think they were playing Cypress Hill, and they changed Cypress Hill and put something else in. And I had just assumed that it was more Cypress Hill, but what it was the Great Malenko, right? And so I believe it was, I think it was Boogie Woogie Woo. What is the fucking order? Is it like Boogie Woogie Woo? I think it's Boogie Woogie Woo, House of Horrors, The Ned Game. Is that the run? Do I have that track listing order right? Let me look this up. I want to make sure I'm correct.
Yeah, that's on Great Malenko.
I mean the order though, because like they started oddly enough with Boogie, right? No, it must have been House of Horror. No, you know what? It must have been What Is a Juggalo. Oh, yeah. It was What Is a Juggalo, House of Horrors, Boogie Woogie Woo, and the Ned Game. Because I remember by the time we got to the Ned Game, I was nice and stoned, and it like fucking blew my wig back. Like the idea of like an audio, and I know it's kind of corny to talk about like the Ned Game and how awesome it was, but the first time you hear the Ned Game, that shit's kind of fucking mind blowing. But what was even more mind blowing was Boogie Woogie Woo, the talking about being the boogeyman and how, and What Is a Juggalo, even how they mixed like horror and comedy. That was very attractive to me, mixing horror and comedy. And I'm still a big fan of mixing genres and mixed shit. And Yeah, whatever. Horror comedies are some of my favorite kinds of movies. And you know, I thought it was Cypress Hill. I think I asked about it and they corrected me and told me it was ICP. I had already knew who they were because I'd seen them on MTV, like with the whole Great Malenko controversy, but I didn't like hear the music. I think I had even seen them on Howard Stern and maybe WWE at that point, but once again, didn't really hear or understand the music. That was the first time I heard the music. Flash forward, I was broke as fuck, Don Chaos. I didn't have money to go out and buy these CDs that I was newly infatuated with. So I had to, thanks to my homie Scott, rest in peace to my homie Scott. He made me a couple of cassette tapes. One of them was like a new metal cassette tape, I believe, and the other was a ICP tape, which he basically took songs from, I believe it was mostly Great Malenko and Amazing Jekyll Brothers and a couple of Forgotten Freshness songs. He made like a mixtape for me. And so that was my shit. That tape, that was like the thing I consumed ICP with for a while before I like started saving up a little bit more money on my own, doing like literally corny shit like mowing grass around the fucking neighborhood and shit. And like going to the CD store. And you know, I lived in Vermont even then. It's not like I can just go to a Best Buy and find that shit, or like, so I had to go to like these really shitty like mom and pop stores that like their rap selection was very not that great because I'm in fucking Vermont. So I'm like hoping that I find shit, you know? And thank God there's this one that had like almost all the ICP shit. And so I would go there and like every week or 2 weeks when we would go there, I would get another one and get another one. You know what I mean? And it, you know, and it was like, you're like unraveling the shit is you're like going back in time and discovering more, and you're reading the liner notes and learning the lore. And it's just, I don't know, it's just so fucking dope. ICP is like everything I love in one package somehow. You know what I mean? That's why I fucking love them. They're wrestling, they're horror, they're comedy, they're theatrics. There's a little sprinkle of Andy Kaufman type shit in there. It's like everything I fucking love.
And that's why I always like them too. I tell people why they're one of my favorite groups of all time, because they're so like diverse. There's so many layers to them.
Facts, man. Shouts out to ICP. I see people asking about Candy Hoffman in the chat. Candy Hoffman is the bastard son of Andy Kaufman, actually.
Yep.
Yep.
Which that's a classic movie, Man on the Moon with Jim Carrey.
Shouts out Jim Carrey. Don Chaos, have you ever seen the documentary Jim and Andy on Netflix?
I haven't, but I heard it's good.
Please check that out. If you have any interest at all in Man on the Moon or Andy Kaufman, check that documentary out. It's fucking fascinating. It's basically it's about the behind the scenes stuff where Jim Carrey kind of becomes Andy Kaufman, or at least he convinces himself he becomes Andy Kaufman. Anyway, check it out. It's fucking dope.
Oh yeah, me and Lady Chaos will definitely check that out because we love Jim Carrey and we love Andy Kaufman.
Check out Andy Kaufman documentaries too. I would highly recommend seeing the actual footage. You know what I mean? I love old Andy Kaufman YouTube clips and shit. Some of them are kind of hard to find nowadays.
Oh yeah, I love those like documentaries. That's what me and Lady Chaos do. Like we watch like a lot of documentaries, whether it's true crime, just shit in general.
Yeah, same, bro. Same. Yeah, we fuck with documentaries heavy.
We've been watching one like on Disney Plus. It's called Rewind the 90s, and it's all about the 90s and shit.
Oh yeah, I fuck with those nostalgia boys, those nostalgia documentaries. I tried to start one of those last night on HBO. There's a Y2K documentary, but goddamn, that shit was boring, and I turned it off after about 10 minutes.
Oh yeah. So like, what was like the first like artist you remember getting into like in general with like music in general that like grasped your attention? Like me growing up, it was a lot of the music my parents listened to, so it was probably a cross between Beatles, Prince, and Michael Jackson. And my parents listened to a lot of classic rock, so that's why I like classic rock so much.
Yeah, man, same. Like definitely like my parents listening to stuff around the house is like my first real exposure to music. I guess I was big into listening to my parents tell stories or my dad tell stories. I was big into Michael Jackson as a kid and big into the Cars. You know, I specifically really liked a song called Shake It Up as a kid, apparently. But I was also into like rap music early. One time we were watching old fucking home movies on with my dad as a teenager, right? And we found this one where I'm like a baby and like I'm in the car and we're like, I think we're going to haul trash or something, and I'm like in the car saying like, play the tape, like telling my dad to play the tape, whatever the tape is. And so I'm watching this and like my dad puts the tape in the car and suddenly Beastie Boys starts pumping out the car. And I'm like, that fucking blew my wig back because I'm a baby. And I had like video of like me wanting to listen to fucking Beastie Boys at like a young age. Because in my memory, I didn't really fucking get super into rap until like, probably like 10, 11. When I like, you start getting your own like little tape collection, CD collection going. And I had Coolio's Gangster's Paradise, and like that was my first tape is Ninja Turtles Coming Out of Your Shell. You remember that, Don Chaos?
I do, actually. Shit.
So there's a rap song on that. That's probably like the first rap song I was like really fucking with, is the rap song on Coming Out of Our Shells.
Hell yeah. And I'm sure like you could get that video of you jamming out like transferred on CD, because I'm sure people would love to see that.
You know, I need to go and try to look through old tapes, because if I could find that shit would be legendary, dog. I've actually tried before in the past. I remember in like my early 20s when I was first getting into like some video shit, like I fucking was trying to find it and I just could not find that shit. I need to try to find it though, because I know it exists, because we sat there and we watched it, so I know that shit exists. I just don't know where the fuck the tape would be.
Yeah, just like I know there's footage of me when I was like infant, like playing like pots and pans, like their drums and stuff.
So are you saying you're gonna upload that if you find that, Don Chaos?
Yeah, I might ask my mom, Mother Chaos, to put
Mother Chaos
that on like a DVD or something.
That'd be fresh as fuck if we could see that done.
Yeah, there's a lot of dope footage of me when I was younger. Like I was very creative, and that's one thing I missed back then, is like when kids was creative. Like I remember like a lot of kids don't go out these days. I always tell people when I was a kid, I would make a fort out of shit, or as long as I had my coloring book, I was straight.
Yeah, man. I mean, I grew up poor as fuck, so we didn't have cable or anything. So I probably, if I had cable, I would have been more of an indoor kid, but the lack of options of good TV meant I had to go outside and have adventures and shit in my backyard. So I definitely did a lot of that shit. You want to hear something fucking crazy, Don Chaos? I don't think I've talked much about this on stream. I grew up in an area of South Carolina. I'm not originally from Vermont. I'm from the South, from South Carolina, right? I grew up in an area of South Carolina where in my backyard there was a junkyard, essentially. Like there was a little bit of woods, like maybe a half an acre of some woods and shit. But then behind that was an electric fence with a junkyard and a bunch of goats in it, right? So what me and my sister would do, by the way, happy birthday to my sister if she's not watching this at all, but happy birthday to my sister. My sister and I would figure out a way to ninja in to the electric fence. It was a 4-wire fence, right? So we take these 2 middle wires and we kind of like put them on top of each other, and then we get into it like a wrestling ring. You know what I mean? And then we'd explore in the fucking junkyard and shit, which was honestly, looking back, insanely dangerous, because there's like cars stacked on top of each other and shit, like, and just like wild goats fucking everywhere that like definitely like could have like attacked us or something, or like rammed us, like full ass like big goats with the fucking horns and shit.
Right.
Anyway, that was fun. Back in the day, breaking into, well, I guess we break into the cars and shit and like try to collect the old keys, which probably ended up pissing off some of these car owners who maybe wanted to find the old key for this piece of shit old broken down car.
Hell yeah. Now I know Vermont's got like a really good history of like paranormal, like dark history. Like I watch like a lot of paranormal investigation videos, and there's some pretty creepy paranormal stuff out of Vermont. Like I think there's this one house, I forget what it was called.
Yeah, there's definitely some haunted history out here. We have something out here called the Bennington Triangle, which is
yeah, I've heard of that.
kind of like a paranormal hotspot, if you will. A lot of Bigfoot sightings, a lot of missing 411 type of activity, if you know what that is. Or people just kind of poof go missing in the middle of the woods. We actually shot a music video out there in the Bennington Triangle. No, we didn't get any paranormal activity, but we did shoot a music video out there one time. That was pretty fun. We almost got lost.
Oh yeah, I've watched a lot of stuff like that. There's even like something like that, like in like Alaska, but I forget what it's called. It's their version of that.
Yeah. What do you think about all this UFO stuff in the news lately, Don Chaos?
I mean, I'm laughing at the fact that people are acting like they're in shock, and I'm just sitting here because I already believe in that shit. I'm like, I'm not surprised.
I'm surprised at honestly, like the lack of shock, because I like talk to like the stale motherfuckers at my day job about this kind of shit, and they're like, "Huh, yeah, wow, yeah, that's something, huh?" You know, like it's just like another day at work for them, quite literally. So I don't know. To me, it's like crazy the lack of reaction in a way. I'm watching this documentary on Tubi right now called UFO Revolution or something. It's a TMZ documentary, TMZ produced documentary about UFOs. Pretty decent for being a TMZ documentary. I'm going to talk about it a little bit on Habs, but anyway, fuck, where was I going with that, Don? Oh, I derailed myself. That sucks.
I just know we're on the subject about aliens and UFOs.
Oh, I was going somewhere with that. I had a whole thing built up. Damn marijuana. Fuck. Anyway, check out the UFO Revolution. It's a pretty good documentary. They've been showing some interesting evidence. Did you see this jellyfish UFO?
I have, and I've been seeing like those like triangle-shaped ones.
Yeah, the jellyfish UFO was just released in that documentary that I'm talking about.
Yeah, I've like always believed like that there is other life in the universe, and like me and Lady Chaos say this, to say that we're the only planet with life in this whole universe, that's just arrogant and close-minded.
Yeah. And that, you know, typically human, you know what I mean? Typically human. Of course, we're the greatest thing that this universe has ever shat out before, and there can be no others except for us.
It's like I can go on that whole shtick about people who still don't believe in evolution. I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
I was like, it's true. I was like, if you read it, we share 95% of our DNA with chimpanzees. So what does that tell y'all?
If you're looking close enough, Don Chaos, you can see evolution in your lifetime.
Oh, yeah. And that's why I've always told people, like, back then, what people believe, we now know we're aliens. People would probably view as entities from another thing, because like I guess the best quote to say is like from like the first Captain America movie. He says technology's always been modern primitive man's way of describing technology, but what they think is magic, but it's actually technology.
And that's that and you know, some of the shit that you're hearing about these crafts, it does feel like it's so out of our range that it's almost magical. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
We allegedly have a craft in our possession that when you walk in, it's not that, it's rather, you know, regular spaceship size, right? But when you walk inside of it, it's way bigger on the inside. It's like a football field size or a football stadium size inside the damn thing. So like it actually like that's almost magical, you know what I mean? But that just really is maybe playing around with space and time a little bit. I don't know. It's way past human thinking. That's why this shit isn't even out there in the public all the way yet. Because, you know, with conspiracy theories, I've always found that the real truth behind conspiracies isn't that there's like some grand plan or anything like that. The real reason they want to keep shit secret is either they fucked up or they don't know something and they don't want you to not know, because admitting that you don't know something I mean, you're just admitting that you don't know it. You know what I mean? So they're never going to do that. They're never going to admit that they just maybe completely embarrassingly botched 9/11. You know what I mean? Like, just let that shit kind of happen. Not on purpose, but just because incompetence. Whoops. I wasn't paying attention. Whoops. You know, like, they're never going to admit shit like that. They're never going to admit we don't know shit about aliens because they're just so far beyond us. Because that means we have to, human egos as a whole have to reckon with the fact that we're not the greatest fucking thing out there.
Now, have you actually had like UFO experiences or anything?
Well,
or have you ever seen something that you like couldn't explain?
I've seen what they would call a Tic Tac UFO shaped UFO before in the daytime, and it was flying silent, rather low. And at first I thought it was an airplane, but then I'm like, I can like see it though. Like I can see that it's like white or silvery or whatever, and it had no markings on it, no windows on it, no wings, no pointed, no fin, no pointed nose. It was like a pill flying through the sky, quiet as fuck. And I'm like walking down the street, and there's a guy on the other side of the street walking in the other direction, and we're both just like looking up at it. And I'm like, that's fucking weird, huh? He's like, yeah, that's fucking weird. And I watched it for like a couple of minutes, kind of just slowly going across the sky. And that's the part that makes me think it maybe was an airplane, because it was going about the speed of what an airplane would go. But like no exhaust coming out the back, no nothing like that. It just looks like a pill slowly going across the sky. And I watched it for a couple of minutes, had my cell phone in my pocket, never even had the thought to pull my cell phone out for whatever reason. And a lot of experiencers report that for whatever reason, they don't even think about pulling their cell phone out. Didn't even think about it. And then just kind of after a while of watching it, like, and I'm a big UFO fan, and I'm still like, I guess I'm just going to keep walking home. I got shit to do.
Yeah, it's like me. Like, and I actually saw this with someone. I seen a UFO with someone else too. And like I always tell people, UFO doesn't always have to mean like space or alien. It stands for like if it's an unidentified flying object that you don't recognize, that's what it's called.
Big facts.
But I've seen like what a typical space ship actually is like, and I saw this with someone. Like, we were up in the mountains, it's late at night, and we knew this object was too high to be a helicopter or plane. It was going up and down just like this, and the other person can contain this. It was going up and down, and then finally all of a sudden it just went really quick.
Yeah, that's some weird shit. Where were you when you saw that?
This was like up in the mountains, and I was like with someone, and I was like, did you see that too? And they're like, yep.
This is like the Midwest though and shit?
This was like Colorado type shit.
Yeah. That's crazy, man.
It's like up in the Rocky Mountains.
At times I get like a weird paranoid feeling where like maybe I got abducted as a kid and I don't remember it. But I think that's just like a weird paranoid feeling. And like, I've been into this UFO shit ever since I was a kid. There's something about it that's like always like, do you remember a show called Sightings back in the day?
Yes.
Or even Unsolved Mysteries. I believe Unsolved Mysteries was the gateway drug for me to get into UFO shit. But then there was this show Sightings that was basically I was obsessed with. I couldn't get enough of Sightings. And that was like, when I got hooked on UFO shit, I went really deep, like 7, 8 years old, probably just obsessed with UFOs, like going to elementary school and seeing if there's UFO books in the stupid little school library and shit. I've always been that into this.
Yeah, same here. I've always been into like UFOs, aliens. Like one of my favorite shows, as much as some people sometimes think that show is goofy, like I love Ancient Aliens, but it's because I tell people, yeah, some of the stuff on there may seem a little but if you watch other stuff, there's some other stuff you're like, okay, that actually makes perfect sense.
Yeah, like there's interesting nuggets in the show. I agree. Like you can watch it almost like as entertainment, as someone who's like super into it and be like, well, that's bullshit. You can tell that's fucking bullshit. Like I'm, as someone who's into it, I'm also really fucking skeptical.
Yeah, like I'm always about like the ancient astronaut theory too.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the theories of this whole dark secret that might be surrounding disclosure, because there's a lot of worry that people aren't going to be able to handle certain information around the full disclosure of aliens. But one of them being that they made us. Like they literally like created us. Like not that they've been like coaching us through evolution. No, they made us in a tube and they've been watching us ever since.
Which is
We're a
funny.
science experiment. We're a science experiment.
Which is funny because that's what the ancient Slumerians believed. Like their mythology is the gods literally created us. Now, what does that sound for? And like it's been proven that genetic engineering is like a real thing, and that's why I tell people like with Jurassic Park, it's science fiction, but genetic engineering is a real thing.
I forget how many it's supposed to be, but there's a couple of like edits in our DNA that we still can't even really explain.
Exactly, and they've touched on that like on Ancient Aliens. They're like, we always have like this part of our DNA and we don't know where the hell that came from.
Yeah, some interesting shit, man. But it's so hard these days, especially when you're living in the age of like AI and shit, to figure out what's real and what's fake. Like I really have no idea. Like a lot of times if I can trust something, like, because it's like, well, but I have a good eye for AI and shit, so I feel like I can suss out when it's fake. But I mean, I've been fooled. There was one I shared a couple, maybe like 2 months back. I shared this old video of a UFO shot on like a flip phone that looks so real to me. But then the chat's like, I think Razel in the chat was like shooting it down. He's like, nah, bro, that shit's fake. That shit's definitely, that was debunked. So thank God my chat's there to like reel me in sometime, because I'm definitely a mark sometimes for some of these videos that are fake. You want to talk about Miami a little bit?
I just learned about that.
That's down in your area, kind of, sort of.
Yeah. Well, Miami's like 4 hours away, but yeah.
I don't know if you heard, but Devereaux is out there in the field looking for these things.
Well, Devereaux, come get me, bro.
I hope he's okay. He sent me some concerning texts. I hope he's okay.
Hell yeah. But yeah, I love the thing about, like, I've always been fascinated by like everything like paranormal, whether it's aliens, like, or the supernatural. And that's why I've always told people growing up, I'm not religious, I'm spiritual. There's a difference.
Yeah. You want to talk religion? Is that where we're going? Is that where we're going next?
No. Oh no.
Okay.
My whole spiel about like religion is a whole other thing. My whole thing about religion and aliens goes hand in hand, and I'll just say, you guys just want to know, all I gotta say is, like, with ancient aliens or aliens, let's just say if you guys are wondering why they're worried about releasing this, think about it. They're worried that if they release this stuff about aliens, that's going to destroy organized religion. And what is one way that they use to control people? Organized religion.
The Pope said, like, a couple years back, some shit that was like kind of inclusive of the aliens and sort of giving God credit for creating them. Even he said something along the lines that if there are other beings out there, then that's just more of God's children, which is almost kind of comically fun. I don't know. There's something kind of funny about that to me.
I know, and that's why I don't say like God or this. I'm just like the entity, whatever the universe is.
And don't get it wrong. I'm actually like not anti-religion or anything. It's like I have certain members of my family who like that's literally like save them, like not just it's like save their lives. You know what I mean? And I try not to disrespect that. Because I don't. At the end of the day, I don't really know. Maybe there is a giant man in the sky who's been watching me ever since I was a little kid, like my mom told me.
Exactly. And that's why I tell people, I won't knock on like people's beliefs. You believe what you want to believe. That's a good thing.
Do you remember learning about God or the concept of God? Because I like remember the moment.
I do. I'm not going to lie. When I was younger, I used to go to youth groups when I was younger.
I like was cursing in the car one day, and like my mom told me about what God was in a way of like trying to, I think, scare me from cursing anymore, which I think is so perfect of a metaphor for what all of religion is. It's just like a way to like sort of scare and control people. And that's another one of the dark secrets, Don, that they're talking about with this whole alien disclosure. What if all of world's religions, all of them, not just one or two, all of the world religions were created by the aliens to control us.
Exactly. That's what some people say.
What if that? Huh?
And that's where you dig down the rabbit hole. People say they were using us as like a workforce because they were harboring like materials because they fucked up their atmosphere, and the biggest resource that they needed on our planet was gold.
Yeah, there's this whole mythology with gold, that's for sure.
Like if you're like into like the story of the Anunnaki, which comes from like Sumerian lore, and that like you read that mythology, you can really see aliens when you read that mythology. It is perfectly clear. And they say every religion borrowed something from other. Like every religion believes in an entity and stuff, or they believe that even the Native Americans believe that they have these higher beings that came from the star, and they're called star children.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, if all these like cultures believe that in that sort of stuff, what does that tell you?
It tells you there might be something to it. Tells you. What do you think about the Yeti or the Sasquatch? What do you think about that? You believe in Bigfoot?
I do. I believe, I was like, that either could be a missing link between humans and stuff. Like maybe that's the part of the DNA that we don't understand. For all we know, we could have been Bigfoot, but maybe Bigfoot was something created by the aliens.
Yeah, well, that is a whole subset of Sasquatch sightings is Sasquatch plus UFOs like being seen together. What I find interesting about the Sasquatch though is like how in a lot of Native American lore, they're talked about not like a creature, they're talked about as just like another tribe. Like
exactly.
And I think it's really possible that these things are just so sneaky that they're able to just be like, well, fuck humans, we're just gonna go way up in here where these humans can't even come near us, and we're just gonna chill in the woods and say, fuck y'all, we ain't coming out. We don't want nothing to do with it. We seen how y'all act, we don't want nothing to do with that.
Exactly.
I kind of feel like that's what it is. I kind of feel like there's just like, fuck them, we want nothing to do with those humans.
Shit, now we can go down that rabbit hole. Isn't it weird how even all these other cultures believe in giants, like these humanoids? Like they're not like giant, but like even someone who's 7 feet tall compared to us or 8 feet tall would be considered a giant. So it makes you wonder, giants, Sasquatch, aliens.
You're putting together all the dots now. I see you over there, Don. Like those fucking those pictures of like supposed archaeology digs where they have like giants and like you see their bones or whatnot, and it's like a giant skeleton. Goddamn, we're just going down so many wild rabbit holes. I kind of want to bring up the fucking pterodactyl photo that is almost a Mandela effect at this point, because some people say that they've seen this picture in old publications from the 1800s of a group of cowboys holding what looks to be a dead pterodactyl or thunderbird, as they're called in Native American fucking lore, or at least some people say that pterodactyls are thunderbirds from Native American lore. But here's the thing, the picture doesn't really exist, or at least no one can fucking find the picture. But there are people who are alive who swear that they've seen it. Like, I think a lot of people will go back to like a Life magazine article or something, but even like earlier than that, some people say that they've seen it in books published. Weird shit. What do you think of the Mandela effect? Is there any Mandela effects that really trip you the fuck out?
Yes, I was like, wait, something like that's fucking happened.
Which ones? Which Mandelis?
You know, one of the ones I always, and I know conspiracy theorists are going to think this is weird, but I know it's probably nothing like that, but you know it's convenient about Kennedy and Abraham Lincoln. Have you ever watched that thing about
that weird thing?
Like someone's like, oh, that's made up. I'm like, no, this person did their research. And when you add all that up and you're like, what the fuck?
See, I really want to talk about Mandela effects.
Go ahead.
Bernstein. Did you ever read the Bernstein or the Bernstein Bears?
Bernstein Bears, as I called them growing up.
It was Steen,
Yes.
right? Yeah, that's the one that really fucks with me because it was Steen.
I mean,
remember
some
that
people
shit,
said
man.
that. Yeah, because I remember pronouncing it when I was younger. I used to say Berenstein Bears.
Yeah. Man, I just that's the one that really trips me out the most. And it's like probably the most famous one, but it's the one for me that I'm like, I know that was Steen. Steen as a kid. I know it was Steen. But it could just really show how imperfect the human memory is at the end of the day. Because a lot of them are very clearly like mistakes in human memory. There's some that are like, well, you clearly just kind of misremembered that. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. Yeah. Ouija inspired by a lot of internet lore stuff.
Hell yeah, and that's like
especially this
something
run.
else. I'm sure people want us to talk about jug shit too.
Yeah, we should probably get into some more jug shit.
Hell yeah, but yes, I do believe in aliens and UFOs and stuff. Yes.
Yeah, you're gonna let me just talk weird shit all night if we don't get into jug shit.
I mean, I talk weird shit all the time too.
All right, what we got, Don? What we got for jug shit, homie?
Well, first and foremost, you've like worked with like so many people, and I'm sure like, but if you had to pick, like, what's like your favorite person that you've worked with so far, like in music so far?
Well, obviously the one I'm the most known for is Ouija Mac, and that's like a dream fucking come true. Because like Ouija's like literally my favorite rapper, if not one of my favorite rappers. Like he's, I don't know, Ouija just does it different than anyone else. For me, he does it different than anyone else and better than damn near anyone else. So like that to me is like mind blowing. I even got that opportunity. Shouts out to Ouija Mac for even fucking with a scrub like me, because really he didn't have to at the end of the day, but thank you, Ouija. Darby, working with Darby has been tremendous because he's so fucking quick and like it's just it'll blow your mind. Like I don't know, man, like Darby came through. So I think Darby took 2 weeks on one of them because he was on tour and he felt guilty about it and was like, yo, don't worry, when I get somewhere I'm gonna record this. And he still got it to me like mad fast, like under 2 weeks. And that was probably the longest it took Darby, because I think I have 3 songs with Darby at this point. But yeah, man, those are like the 2 that are like the most mind-blowing to me, because I'm just like fans of their shit at the end of the day, you know what I mean? So like that, the fact that I got a chance to work with them, like work with Darby multiple fucking times, is just like, I don't know, that shit's crazy to me. Yeah, so definitely those.
Hell yeah, and you've even done a lot of dope shows with people. I believe you've done a show with Scum too, am I right?
No, I have not. I almost went on a tour in Canada with Scum, but the promoter was on some weird shit and the tour never happened. Basically, the tour never happened.
Shots to Scum. That dude is a fucking beast.
Big shout out to Scum for sure, man.
Like, it's funny. Like, I remember, like, and everyone always gets this when they first hear his music. And when they first hear his music, like, holy shit. And they're, like, afraid to approach him. And then when they actually approach him, he's, like, the nicest, most chill dude on the planet. He's the most, like, respectful dude on the planet.
I unofficially met Scum 2 years ago at the Gathering when he was laughing next to me during ICP's seminar. But I officially met Scum and, like, shook his hand this past year at the Gathering because Will Gates introduced me to him, and he was just chilling at the parking lot party with everybody, like where the fucking, like, the line of cars is just going by to go in. Scum's just chilling their party and offering people Jaeger shots. Like, it was really fucking cool to see, like, a legend like that just chilling. Like, people say, like, the Gathering's dead, the artists don't really come out and party like they used to. That's not true. If you're actually like out there gathering, that's definitely not true. There's a lot of artists mingling out there. You just got to actually like leave your campsite and walk around a little bit.
Oh yeah. And that's one thing I've always liked about like his flow. Like even like when he like raps from like English and then when he raps in Russian, I was like, I don't know what he's saying, but it sounds fucking dope.
Yeah. Multilingual shit. I actually haven't heard much of that, the Russian mixing in shit.
Yeah.
Is that something he did on the earlier albums?
Oh, he's been doing that for years. He still does. He still does it.
Word. That's kind of dope. I haven't actually heard much of that.
Hell, yeah. Like I could see you and Scum doing a track together.
He did a contest.
I remember
to be on his shit, and there's a verse that exists somewhere of my entry for that contest. Because
oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. It's actually on their YouTube.
Yeah, I think if you search "Humble Among Scum," you could probably find my version of or my submission for that contest. So my version of that song, because I think all of them are still up there.
Oh
shit,
yeah,
I think
he
you
kept
dropped
them all up there, which is cool. And that's one thing I like about Scum. He's really good at like promoting other people.
Facts.
Hold on. Check. Am I coming through now?
Yeah, you caught up. It like did the thing where it stopped and then it like caught it all up real fast. So I think we good now.
Okay, I hate when it does that.
Yeah, it did that weird glitchy thing. We good though.
Hell yeah. And another good thing that I like about Scum is he shows like props and respect to everyone. Like whenever he'll like even be in the audience before he performs and he'll watch all the openers and he'll like give them advice. Like he'll be like, okay, you could work on this and that. And it's like just friendly advice. Like he's one of the best people that's like giving me advice, like just on anything. Him, Insane Poetry, Ouija, and Frankie Goldie. All those dudes have like given me some like the best advice ever.
Shouts out to Frankie Goldie, man. Frankie Goldie has definitely given me some really good advice. Shouts out to Frankie, man. By the way, you guys, I say it all the time. Frankie's appearances on here, probably some of the best Juggalo content you could possibly fucking watch, man. And props to you, Don Chaos, for being a good sport and putting up with Frankie Goldie's nonsense, because I know he's a little rascal, you know.
Well, and that's why I said that might have been new to other people, but like me and Frankie talk like that all the time, even when we're not on YouTube. So I know he already talks like that already, but I'm still proud to call that dude my bro.
Yeah, he's the shit, man. Shouts out to
Frankie
for sure.
So like people were like, oh, does he always talk like that? I'm like, yes. I was like, he always talks like that. But I'm like, but when you dig deep, he's the most chill, humble dude. He's a ride or die dude that will like fight for you if he has to.
Yeah, shouts out to Frankie, man. He was really cool to talk to at the gathering. I really want to talk more with that dude. He just seems like a cool motherfucker, man. Good energy on Frankie Goldie for sure.
He is. And I even remember like hearing like his early stuff back in the day, like of Swagtooth days. Like if you look at the Swagtooth days, you will find Frankie Goldie.
Yeah, he's on the older mixtapes and shit.
Like he's even said many times, he even said it when we last time on Ouija, that's his boy from way back in the day.
Yeah. I think Ouija's even described him as his OG even.
Yeah. So if we wanted to pinpoint like similarities, you could say Frankie Goldie is for Ouija Mac what Rude Boy is to ICP.
Yeah, in a way, I think you could. Would that comparison piss Frankie off? Maybe it would. I don't know. Purely speculation.
With shout outs to Rude Boy too. Like
yeah, shouts out to Rude Boy for sure.
Like I've even told him, like, dude, you are an underrated hardcore legend. And I was like, if people don't look at like hardcore wrestling, and if you're not as some of the people in that dictionary, that's fucked.
Yeah, shouts out to Southwest Detroit, man. That really helped mold ICP and shit, man. The Rude Boy.
Yep, we actually stayed in like River Rouge, like when we were at Hollow Wicked, convincingly, and it was weird. And we were like literally 6-minute drive up the street from like the Dog Beats like photo spot, and it was convenient because we were playing into the Echo side, and one of my quests is you were going to revisit history and see historic places, and conveniently everywhere we went to in Detroit was something historic with ICP. Like we went to Mexican Village and
Yeah,
went to
man.
we went to that restaurant that they name dropped, and we're like, I know why they name dropped this Mexican restaurant now. It's fucking good.
They say all the restaurants in Mexican Village are fucking fire, though. Like, you can pretty much just go anywhere in Mexican Village and get some good eats. That is, like, what you were saying, though, is so fucking true, man. We went to Hallowicked 2022? 2021? I think 2022. And that shit was so fucking dope just to, like, because we were just, like, walking around Detroit, which, you know, a lot of the white people around here were like, don't walk around Detroit. I'm like, it's not going to be a big deal. And it wasn't a big deal. But anyway, we were walking around Detroit and just like walking by Clark Park. And I was like, bro, fucking Clark Park. You know, like, you know what I mean? Like, just name dropped like a million times, and just seeing like signs like for like going to different places, like just seeing like 7 Mile and 8 Mile. You know, just simple shit like that, driving around, seeing signs for Zug Island. Fucking crazy.
And it's funny because that's where our Airbnb was. It was in River Rouge, and if you look like just diagonally out when you look down the back of our porch, you can see like Zug Island. It was like that close to us.
Yeah, that shit's like a trip. I definitely like. I always recommend people go to the Gathering, but I think it's also like really important to understand ICP to go to a Hallowicked show. I think those vibes are just like, I don't know, there's something different about a ICP show in Detroit for sure.
Exactly, and that's what I've always told people. Yeah, clown shows are dope, but there's nothing like seeing the clowns on their home turf in Detroit, especially on Halloween.
But I do really like the clowns outdoors, man. The clowns outdoors is so fucking, I don't know. Did you go to the Hootenanny show?
I didn't, but when I saw ICP outdoors before I went to my first gathering, I saw them at Red Rocks.
So that Hootenanny show, I feel like is kind of not talked about enough, how fucking fresh it is that they did that. Because driving into that fucking area of, was it West Virginia, I think?
Yeah, I heard I heard it was like really backwoods West Virginia.
Bro, that shit was enemy territory.
Damn.
There was fucking Confederate flags driving out there. I'm literally driving by Confederate flags. I'm like, yo, this is fucking crazy. And so I'm like, this is going to be interesting. And they fucking had the noise. They had the fucking bass up so fucking loud for that shit. And I think it was like 1 a.m. or something. And they played like Fuck Your Rebel Flag. And there's houses not that far away. Like you can literally like look and see some houses. So I know that some of these rednecks not only heard, but felt the bass pumping through the fucking ground of Fuck Your Rebel Flag. And that shit was a beautiful fucking moment to me, man. That shit was fucking fresh. As someone from the South, I can say, fuck that flag. Fuck your Rebel Flag. And that's a very important moment to me as far as like ICP shit that I've experienced. And I don't think it's talked about enough.
Exactly. Like even Shaggy's quoted in the song Confederate Flag. He's like, there's juggalos all over the South that don't wave it.
Yeah.
And there are Southern juggalos. I've met quite a few of them, and a lot of them say, yeah, fuck that flag.
I mean, I don't get it. To me, it's like, I mean, it is what it is. It's a fucking, it's a signal for fucking racists and shit, man. That's what it is.
I know, and I've always done that. Like, we want to debunk that. Like, for a lot of you racist people that are out there, you say it's not a symbol of hate, then why does the KKK hate group use it?
Yeah. Why do white supremacists use it as a fucking symbol? Why do people use it as a hate symbol?
Yep, and that's why I tell people, like, usually images are like disdained. Like, it may have stood for something positive back then, like I'm talking about like other symbols, but maybe now someone came around and disdained it, and now it's viewed as like a terrible symbol.
Yeah, certain other symbols that we won't talk about.
But you know what symbol I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about. We're not going to talk about it.
I mean, I've heard you talk about that in privates, how this symbol used to stand for something positive, but now, and then a hate group came around.
Don't say it like that. I heard you talk about it in
But I know, like, I'm sure anyone who's open-minded knows there used to be a symbol that used to stood for something positive, but then another group came around and turned it into something
that we will not name, so we don't get this stream demonetized or something.
Yes.
Which we probably already did, but that's okay.
Which people know who I'm talking about, and that's what bothers me too, is like, I'll just give a hint. Like, people think because I'm part of that nationality that I'm associated with those people, which is
wait, who thinks that, Don? Who thinks that?
I mean, I'll just come around and say I've come across people that think that just because someone's German, they're automatically a Nazi.
Oh, facts. You know, I got a lot of German blood in me too, actually.
And people,
so it's not true. God damn it.
I know. Like, I literally knew this lady who came from Germany during World War II and escaped Germany because of the bullshit, because she didn't agree with what Hitler was saying. But you could like still hear her like thick German accent. It was dope.
Yeah.
And like I guess another greatest quote to say is the first country the Germans ever invaded, or the Nazis invaded, was their own, actually.
Mm.
And the thing is, y'all, Hitler wasn't even German. He was Austrian.
Yeah, this is true. This is true. And also a Jew?
Yeah, so I don't get it.
I don't know what that means.
But yeah, since we want to talk, we're gonna
go
real
racy here. I feel like I'm walking on a fucking thin ice here. Don Chaos.
Well, and that's always been like a big issue with me, is like, I'm just gonna say it here. I get baffled and it makes me shake my head when there are people who claim to be in our scene and they're racist, and it makes me go,
yeah, well, fuck them, man. Fuck any racist that is hiding in this scene or pretending in this scene, man. There's and especially fuck you if you're gonna be open about it. It's a definite big fuck you if you're gonna be open about your stupid racism. I can't even believe that there's people that let that shit slide, bro.
Right.
But they fucking do. They fucking do. People say slurs in this scene to people hatefully, not on some comedy shit, and they let shit slide.
Exactly. And see, you know that difference too. There's a difference between being funny and when you're saying it to be hateful.
I know comedy, man. I know the difference between funny and hateful ass fucking slurs. I definitely know the difference.
Exactly. Like,
I'm not a fucking idiot.
Exactly. Another perfect example, the comedian like Dave Chappelle, he always gets criticized for being racist. I'm like, no, he's making fun of racist people.
Well, he gets more criticized for being anti-trans or non-trans inclusive, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Really, though, I'll be honest, that last Dave Chappelle special was kind of trash, man. Not trash, just lazy. Just lazy. Some of them jokes are just like, I don't know, man. It wasn't hitting for me. I feel like, I don't know, Chappelle need to take a couple-year break and like really work on a set. I don't know. That shit felt, and one of the laziest jokes in the whole special, I literally was like, that shit's lazy. And then his next joke, he says, a lot of people give me criticism for being lazy. I was like, God damn, I called that one.
Oh yeah. So since we do want to
But I do love Dave Chappelle. Don't get that shit twisted. I love Dave Chappelle. He's one of my favorite comedians.
Agreed. I still believe he's like a comic genius.
Yeah. Chappelle Show, the first couple stand-up specials.
Yeah.
Dude, top tier. That's top tier. Not the third season of Chappelle Show. We don't talk about that season. That season doesn't exist.
Yeah, but those first two seasons.
Yeah. Classic, bro. That's classic comedy, man. If anyone's never seen the first two seasons of Chappelle Show, do yourself a favor and check them out. Because especially that second season, god damn, I was watching them shits when they were premiering. Them shits was like, talk about viral before viral, bro. That shit would go crazy the next day. Like,
exactly.
Like pre-Twitter internet and shit, you know? Like, that shit was viral as fuck, getting shared on message boards and shit. What do y'all know about message boards, you fucking whippersnappers?
I know, that's what they were talking about even on that 90s Rewind documentary I talked about. They were talking about message boards and AOL. I'm like, Jesus.
These kids don't know about fucking message boards. Dog, so much of my fucking, like, we're talking about horrorcore shit and, like, so, like, when I got my computer, right, one of the first things I did was start illegally downloading music. I got Napster and I started illegally downloading music like crazy on my little HP. So once I started doing that, and like I had like everything at my fingertips, you know what I mean? Like I could get whatever the fuck I wanted. I started being a nerd and finding the fucking most obscure fucking shit I possibly could. So that meant, to me, finding more Detroit rap music. I need to find out more about this Esham character that ICP keeps talking about. So that was one of the first things I did, was I found more Esham and Nada shit to listen to. And then I just went and I fucking would just find more Detroit rap, which then I learned what horrorcore is and shit, and find horrorcore.com, which horrorcore.com back in the day used to have so many real player files of like everything like you could possibly want to listen to. So even before I got on the forums at horrorcore.com, I was listening to those real player files like crazy. And so I get on the forums though, and that's really where I learned like a lot about like the Juggalo world and the community and like horrorcore shit, and like all of that shit was in those forums, man. Yeah, I'm talking some old head shit here. Shouts out to anybody who remembers the horrorcore.com forums though, man. That was definitely super important to my development.
Yeah, and a lot of even artists back then used to like promote their music on horrorcore.com, and there was another website where people used to do that too. Remember killmusic.com?
Yeah, I never got much on Kill Music. I was more of a horrorcore kid, but I definitely remember Kill Music. I don't know if I ever made an account over there, but I definitely was like a lurker over there occasionally.
Yeah, like I if I remember correctly, there's like a lot of old Scum stuff back in the day, and if I remember, I think even Darby maybe used to put some of his early old stuff up on there back in the day.
I think Darby did tell me that he was on horrorcore.com back in the day. He definitely, I can't remember if he said he posted music, but he definitely was on that shit.
And I know he definitely remembers killmusic.com.
Oh, yeah. Do you remember realjuggalos.com?
I do.
Realjuggalos.com was the shit, bro. I fucked with they were like, to me, they were like really like, people talk a lot about Fago Lovers. To me, Fago Lovers wasn't even on the map back in the day. And that's not trying to diss Fago Lovers or whatever. They weren't even on the map back in the day. It was all about realjuggalos.com. And this other website, which had some like juicy fucking more gossipy shit occasionally, called Malenko 500.
I remember that too.
Yeah, I'm pulling out some old school shit now. Anyone out there remember Malenko? That's dope. You remember Malenko 500.
Which is funny because the other day I was just listening to the end skip from Dark Los when it's called .com, where they're naming all those websites. I'm like, God, bro. I remember those.
All those fucking websites, bro. Dude, that shit, like, I feel like that's such a dope track because you had to be in that era to really fully understand that track, because I feel like the kids listening, like, they're like, what the fuck are all these? Is this a joke? No, all those websites were real fucking websites. Those were all real fucking websites.
Yep,
it
just
sounds like almost comical at this point, though, listening to it.
Yeah, and that's one thing. Yeah, and that's one thing I always liked, like when ICP's like cryptic or something. Like a lot of people don't know the number on the screen that you see in Big Money Hustlers. Like if you're old school like us, you would know that number on the screen was actually the old number to the old ICP hotline.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'll be back.
What's up?
I'll be back.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Guess it's just little old Humble Among on the screen. Talking about the ICP hotline, though. I'll keep talking about ICP hotline to keep it going. I would listen to the ICP hotline because I'm broke boy status, so I couldn't call into the ICP hotline because my dad would get all mad and pissy at me. So I used to listen to the ICP hotline on Real Juggalos, actually. Yep. Secret Habs now. I like that. Welcome back, Don. I just talked a little bit more about the ICP hotline and listening to recordings of it on realjuggalos.com. Because that was my preferred method to listen to the ICP. Because I was broke boy, man. I was broke boy status. I could not be calling that hotline as much as I would probably want to. So I would wait for Real Juggalos to upload the recordings in Real Audio. I believe they were in Real Audio.
Yep, I remember that too. And since we like to talk about that, which Dark Lotus do you prefer? Red Cross?
Red all day, dog. I honestly, I never even heard the yellow one until a couple years ago when I got back into the clowns and shit, like in like 2017. Yeah, 2017 was when I really got super back into the shit. Because I don't know if you know this part about my little Juggalo story, Don Chaos. I took a break from the Juggalo world for quite a long time. I was not really involved with the Juggalo culture or in the Juggalo culture from like 2005, 4?
Yeah.
Probably around the time I graduated, maybe even a little bit before that. And I was trying to be a serious lyricist, a serious hip-hop artist for a while. And that meant you couldn't be a Juggalo. So I was turned my nose up very pretentiously at Juggalos for a while, which is I kind of regret it, but I don't, because when I came back, bro, I had so much fucking music to consume because I had missed everything from about The Tempest was probably the last ICP. Yeah, The Tempest was the last ICP record I had listened to, and I was like, all right, I think maybe The Calm. No, The Storm is the Eye of the Storm is after, right? So I must have heard Eye of the Storm.
Eye of the Storm is after. It's a sideshow to Tempest.
I heard Eye of the Storm. Eye of the Storm was probably the last ICP release I heard for a real fucking long time. Other than that, they would pop into pop culture. I think I saw Chris Benoit pop in at some point. Obviously saw Miracles and when all that shit's going on. But I'm watching obviously all the stuff going on with Juggalo culture. Them getting made fun of by society and all this shit, and being like, yeah, like to me when the Miracle shit was going on, my perspective, even as an outsider kind of at the time, was like, guys, this is ICP's got a million songs like this. I hate to break it to you.
Right.
Like,
I know, right? That's what I was like saying too.
Like, this is like a specific genre of ICP song, like the positive, uplifting ICP song. Like, there's a bunch of these. Like, this is.
I know. I'm like, obviously, these people have never heard "Fly Away" from back in the day.
Yeah, man. There's a bunch of them. So I don't know. Like, I never even understood like why the big deal with Miracles. Like, yeah, it's a silly line, but at the end of the day, like the song has a pretty dope message.
Exactly.
And a lot of people don't really know how magnets work. That's the point. That's
exactly. And I think that's funny. Then they actually, when that whole thing came out, they were asking college kids, and these kids didn't know. So they were going around, and then they actually asked a college professor. He says, I can't even tell you how magnets work. I could tell you what we think how magnets work. So,
Yeah.
So even a smart dude said, this is just how we think magnets work. It's not that it's proven fact. It's just how we think. It's just a theory.
Yeah. So like, basically, long story short, because I could keep going on forever with this, I get back into the shit about 2017. Ouija's involved with me, my interest in the shit. I wish I could remember how I heard, because I just saw Relic said I heard about Ouija from Onstead. I wish I could remember how I fucking first heard about Ouija. I do know I knew who Ouija was before I knew who Ouija Mac was, because I had seen him when he was in Swagtooth, because Swagtooth was doing promo with Mishka at a certain point.
Yep.
And so I think that's when I first heard them and heard of them, was when they were fucking around with Mishka. So yeah, so that's like and then I see like, oh, this dude can spit. Like he's not only like I was really super like, because I think the Cypher is the first thing I saw. I was like, this dude can fucking spit. And so like, and then ICP's obviously rapping on the Cypher too. And that made me go down a rabbit hole of like, man, I'm gonna start listening to those old ICP records. I used to have so much fun with those. I'm gonna go and listen to those again on some like let me on some nostalgia shit, you know, because I hadn't listened to them in years at that point. And you know what, Don? I had some of the most fun I had listening to music in a long fucking time. Because honestly, at that point in my life, I wasn't really into music a lot. I was like kind of burned out with music. I wasn't really making music. I was kind of settling into just being an alcoholic and just working my life away. You know what I mean? And what ends up happening is that shit kind of lit something in me, man. Like I go to my first ICP show because all that time I had never seen them live. So I go, you know what? I've been having so much fun listening to these old records. I'm gonna go see them live. I'm gonna just go because they were playing down in Massachusetts, not that far away. Tickets were only like $30. This was back when clown shows were still like $30. So like we bought some tickets. We went down there and something clicked, man. That shit was like, I had so much fun. Probably more fun than I've had at a live show in fucking years, especially a rap show in fucking years. Seeing the Fago fly for the first time, man. That shit lit something in me. And that year, after leaving that show, I'm like, I got to go to a gathering now. I think I have to go. I think I have to see what that's like. Just once, maybe just once, because I'm like still resisting being a juggalo in a weird way. So I should have gone that year. I resisted though. That was the year of Whoopstock. What I did instead is I stayed home and I watched it from the internet. I watched it via YouTubers like Not Slim 1 at the time. And I think a couple of others that were posting videos and live streams from the grounds themselves.
Yeah, I think I did some footage back in the day.
I probably saw some of your footage from that year as well then, because I was watching anything and everything that I could find of that year because I was regretting not going. I was sitting there watching it, being like, fuck, man, I screwed up. I should have fucking gone. And I'm like, you're going next year. And I was like, oh, it's the 20th? You're going next year. It's the 20th? So I had a whole year to plan. And I was like, I'm going. And so I went. And that was my first gathering. I decided, you know what? I'm going to make a movie about going to the gathering for the first time. It's because, I mean, how many people are going to ever make a documentary about going to the gathering for the first time? There's not many people that can make that movie at this point. So I'm like, fuck it, I'll make that movie. That was my first piece of Juggalo YouTube content, really. Was that Shimmer Forest documentary. And after that, bro, I was in. I was so fucking in. Seeing Ouija live, seeing fucking ICP live more, seeing them outside for the first time, meeting and talking to Juggalos. Like really meeting and talking with Juggalos. It was like a life-changing experience. And I like to say, every time I've gone to the gathering, it's been a life-changing experience, man. Like, I got sober from alcohol. I mean, there wasn't a gathering the year of the COVID. You know what I mean? 2020 they didn't do a gathering. I was going to go to that gathering. I got sober instead. And
congrats on that.
Thank you. And I'm really glad I did, because that really continued this projection of like I don't know what to describe it, like relighting a passion in me almost, you know, because like I said, I wasn't really trying to make music. I wasn't really trying to fucking do anything creative, bro. I was basically I had accepted I'm just going to drink myself to death if I really want to get dark about it. I was in a bad spot, bro. I was in a real bad spot. And that shit, ICP, brought me out of that, man. listening to these albums I had never heard before, never really listened to properly, because Shangri-La like was a record that like I didn't like when it first came out. That was a large reason of why I kind of moved away from ICP at the time, was when Shangri-La came out. I was like, oh God, that's corny. I don't fuck with that. So I moved away. I listened to Hell's Pit. Hell's Pit was corny to me at the time. Every ICP record I heard after that was corny to me. But getting sober, and actually even before getting sober, listening to Hell's Pit when I was in my darkest spot, like those songs helped me so much, man. Truly Alone, Suicide Hotline, and Night of the 44 specifically, and Angels Falling as well, all helped me so fucking much, man, and pulled me out of that shit. And you know, I got sober, and then I started listening to Shangri-La a lot, like when I was in this like positive, like I'm getting my life together mode. And you know what? Shangri-La, I fell in love with, bro. Like, and it's because I was in this more healthy mind state, this more positive mind state, that the shit resonated with me differently. And I listened to Thy Unveiling, and that shit, you know, that shit like hits you a different way now, or hits me a different way now, because it's like, I don't know, there's something kind of brilliant about it. Like, it's, you know, a lot of people want to Monday quarterback and be like, oh, we knew the whole time it was going to be God. It's so obvious. How didn't you know? Bitch, you didn't know. You were going to say you were saying it was the Raven or some shit. You were saying it was going to be the fucking what was some more of them?
I don't even remember.
There's a whole bunch of them. The 6.com had a whole list of them. But like, I don't know, the shit hit differently to me. The whole album hit differently to me. Right. Yeah, man. I don't know. And now it's one of my favorite records. And that's why when people ask me like, what's your favorite Joker's card? You know what I mean? I'm always like, it kind of depends on my mood, man. Because if I'm in a real bad mood, like a sad, like angry bad mood, it might be Hell's Pit time. Yep. If I'm feeling real good, it's in like uplifting, it might be Shangri-La time. If I'm driving into Detroit for the first time ever, it might be Riddlebox time. It all kind of depends. Oh, we got a cat. Oh, I saw a cat on the cam. What's the cat's name?
Yep.
What is it?
Her name is Petey. Her name is Petey.
Petey? What's up, Petey? Petey can't hear me. I don't know why I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah, Petey. She's a girl, y'all. Yes.
Yo, shouts out to Petey.
Yeah, and yes, y'all, Petey can be a girl's name too.
You know what? It sure can. And I have a cat named Steve-O, or Steve, and also a girl. So Steve can be a girl's name too. So shouts out to gender fluid cats, or gender fluid cat names.
Hell yeah. Now we're gonna delve deep more into music because it's cool. I like how you said that, like with the Joker cards. Like when people always ask me, I can never give them a straight answer. I'm like, what are we talking about? Music wise, story wise, image wise? Yeah. Which one speaks to us the most? So I'm like you. It just depends on my mood. But I also give an answer. I was like, in my opinion, I think every Joker's card is good in their own way, shape, or form. And that's what I like about it.
It's all different vibes, man. There's different things you can take from different ones. If I'm going for a walk in the middle of the night, I might want to listen to Carnival of Carnage, because it might, to me, the synths in Carnival of Carnage are something fucking real ominous about that shit.
I know, it's like something you listen to at night.
Yeah, man. Ringmaster, for some reason, has a real like dirty and dusty vibe to me. I don't know why. I always picture like a desert when I listen to Ringmaster for some reason. Yeah. I don't know why that is. It's always been that way. And you know, like I said, I literally listened to Riddlebox driving into Detroit and shit. Riddlebox, by the way, is an easy answer for my favorite Joker's card. I think a lot of people's answer. But that record, I probably played Riddlebox more than I played Great Malenko when I first got it, bro. Like, I played the shit out of Riddlebox because Riddlebox to me is like the most clowny sounding.
It is. Like, a lot of people say that's when they really like found their signature sound that everyone like.
They really did. They really did. Yeah, man. But I also fuck with the later Joker's cards a lot. A lot of people's shit on the second deck. Fearless Fred is one of my favorite Joker's cards.
Exactly.
I really relate with, because Fearless Fred came out right about the time when I was coming back into this shit. So like that's kind of like an important era to me, because it's like the first Joker's card I went and bought at a CD store in like however fucking many years, you know what I mean? And the message of Fearless Fred, I really relate with this anger that the dead has at you for the things that you're not doing because they can't do them anymore. That shit is fresh, man. And that shit definitely kicked me in my ass to start doing things that I wasn't doing, like making music and doing YouTube shit that I've been wanting to do for fucking years, but just never did it for whatever reason. So when I got sober, I started doing that shit too. So I mean, that's why I always say, man, I always try to be encouraging and tell people, you know, like, do shit. Like, who cares? Who cares if you're not successful at it? Just do it. Because, like, you never know. And if you're having fun doing it, it sounds corny, but that's all that fucking matters, man. Because shit, I made music for years with no one caring. No one, not even really trying to push myself or put myself out there that much, but really just making it because I enjoyed making it. When I stopped having fun making it, I stopped making it.
Exactly.
So it was, and I mean, it's my sobriety and it's ICP and the carnival I have to thank for the way my life is now, man, for how happy I am now, for having Emily in my life, for everything that I have, for how shit's going right now, man. Because I'm pretty fucking happy. I'm the happiest I've ever been in my life right now.
Same.
And every day, like, I'm just fighting to fucking hold on to that happiness, because it could go away. God damn it, it could all go away. Or at least that's the dark part of my brain that tells me that shit can go away, and it can go away, man. Like, who the fuck knows? I don't know. I'm ranting at this point. But for real, man, that's why I try to tell people, just do shit, man. Just do shit, because you don't know. You don't. And yeah, man, who the fuck knows is gonna come of it? Like, make art, be creative.
Yeah,
I don't know. I really fucking believe in that shit.
Yeah, like, I do this show because I like to talk about my topics, and I know this is why I can see the passion when you do your videos. The reason why you and me do this, because we have such a passion for this scene, and we love this jug shit.
Because, you know, I've grown to, like, see myself in this shit, see other things in this that I don't think a lot of, I mean, mainstream society definitely doesn't see the beauty that juggalos see in this scene. You know what I mean? They see it from the outside, but once you're in this shit, man, there's so much fucking beauty in this scene. Like, I don't know, man. There's just so many nice people. Just so many nice people doing cool fucking shit. And I wouldn't be rather be in any other scene. You know, I think back at like when I left the juggalo scene and like wanted to be Mr. Lyrical Miracle, creative rapper dude or whatever. I'm so glad that that shit never took off or whatever. Like, because then I wouldn't be nearly as happy as I am now. Because now I feel like I'm just doing what I want to do and having fun with it, and people seem to like it. And that's the most blessed thing about it, because I was doing live streams with like 4 people in it. You know what I mean? And like, still kept doing them, and that shit kept growing slowly and slowly as I would keep sharing them. And that's the other thing I tell people. The most important thing is to keep doing it. Like, starting is the first big step. The next real important step is to keep doing it, because
exactly,
it's something Shaggy Two Dope says all the time. It's corny as fuck, but it's so true. What's the one thing that every successful person has in common? They never quit.
Exactly. And I'm not going to lie. There was, like, I'm going to say this the first time live, and this is the first time some of y'all heard it. I was thinking about retiring, like, the show and everything and just doing YouTube. But when I look back on it, I'm glad I didn't, because I have such a passion for this shit. And I've always loved to give back to the community. Like, for those that don't know, the reason why I'm known as the Karma Millionaire, because the Juggalo community gave me that name, because they saw how nice and compassionate I was, or that I would help people out and stuff. Like, the reason why my name is Don Chaos, because the Don, yes, you think of mob, but a Don also is someone who does favors for you, and they do counsel for you. They're almost like a therapist. And the reason why I added the chaos, because I took something negative and made it positive. The reason why the chaos is in there, because I always help people come out of their chaotic situations, that whatever they're going through.
Hell yeah, Don. I just figured it was because of the chaos theory, but
that too, yes, because I'm not gonna lie, it's purely speculation. I may and may not have written the chaos theory. Just saying.
Oh, you wrote it?
Maybe.
You ghost wrote it? Purely speculation. I see what you're saying. Wink.
All I gotta say is, yeah, me and Jump Steady and a lot of those people know about that chaos theory.
Hell yeah,
Just
bro.
saying.
Hell
And I fucking love that track.
That Ninjas in Action shit. That shit fucks.
That's
shit
one thing
fucks
I've
real
been
hard.
telling people for years too. Jump Steady doesn't give enough credit. Yes, he's a great storyteller and a good talker, but his rapping, people need to know more about.
Yeah. At times he can seem a little rusty, but I mean, he's a really good fucking lyrical miracle. He's a really good lyricist and a pretty fucking good storyteller too, man. I wish he would kind of do something again, but it seems like he's pretty much done altogether with the music shit.
I know. I kicked myself in the ass for when I was at the 2019 gathering and I missed Jump Steady's set. I'm like, son of a bitch.
Me too. I missed that. Was that a late night boy?
Yes, and I was like,
Yeah,
I don't even remember
what
I don't even remember what I was doing. I even missed the Crack Tiles set, and I wanted to see that.
I think I caught a little bit of that. You know what my biggest L is that whole fucking gathering is the first day they did that acoustic set really late. Like, was it like 3 a.m. or something?
Yeah.
Bro, I could not stay awake. I just could not stay awake for that. And I had my alarm set. I was like, I'm just going to fall asleep. I'm going to set the alarm and I'm going to get up and I'm going to go over there. I fucking just slept through that damn alarm and I woke up so mad, bro. Like, and I think I even woke up a couple of times while it was going on and I could hear it from like mad far away. But I'm like, oh, I'm so tired. But then I woke up and I was like, bro, you slept through it, you fucking asshole. I was so mad at myself.
Yeah, and that's one thing I've always give advice. We give advice to you guys who are first going to the gathering. You can plan what you're going to do, but you're not going to be able to maybe do everything you set out to do.
Go into it accepting the fact that you're going to miss some shit that you're probably going to want to see. It's just something that's going to happen. Happens to me every year. Every year I miss shit that I want to see.
Yep, I do that too, but then I always look back and like, wait, but then I found something more interesting.
Yeah. A lot of times,
that's
man.
The one thing about the gathering, there's always something to do. Always.
100%. I mean, just chilling with the homies. Last year, actually, like the past 2 years, it's been like chilling with the homies time. We'll sometimes be like, well, let's just chill here longer before we go down. What do you really want to see next? Type beat, you know? And like, well, we got to see Darby for sure. So we'll go over there when Darby comes on. So yeah, it's like that kind of shit, like the past 2 years.
Yeah, and that's kind of like what it is with me. Or I even said the gathering become to me has been a point where yes, it's a music festival, but I also go there to hang out with my homies, and everyone can contend to this. You're going to chill with your homies and families, and the music is just like live music background while you guys are hanging out. But you're still getting live and vibing out with each other.
Yeah, that's definitely the vibes, bro. Did you go to the gathering this past year?
I didn't. I really wanted to.
What was the last gathering you went to, Don?
The last one I went to was 2021.
Are you going to try to go this year?
I want to go. It's just, I will say this, money is tight, and Lady Chaos wants to go too, but we need to like pack special like provisions for me and her, but we do want to go.
Man, I hope you guys make it out there. I'd love to see you guys out there.
Which, if you guys do want to help us, fine. If you don't, cool. But it's all up to y'all.
Throw some money Don Chaos's way. Get Don Chaos out to the gathering. And Don Chaos and Lady Chaos out to the gathering for sure.
Yes. But I did have fun taking her to her first few shows, like down there this past year. Like I took her to like her very first shows. I took her to see Ouija and shit. It was dope.
Oh, that's what I was gonna ask you. What in 2021? What was your your favorite thing you saw in 2021? If you can remember back to that specific year, because I know sometimes the shit blends together a little bit.
Well, I know that's the year, especially at that gathering when I received my award, which a lot of people were very proud of me for that.
That was the Replicon boy, right?
Yep, and I remember everyone saying, they're like, Don, you are living proof that if you can win at something for all the hard work you do, they're like, if you win, we win.
Hell yeah. Congratulations on that, Don. Fuck. But do you remember what your favorite thing that you saw that year?
I mean, even though everyone thinks he's corny and, everyone gets Vanilla Ice shit, yes, Vanilla Ice may sound corny, but you see Vanilla Ice live, he is fucking dope.
And you know what? I'm so glad you said that. I'm not a big fan of Vanilla Ice doing a Trump concert, but I will say he fucking had one of the best live performances that whole gathering. 100%, Don. His sound was perfect. He really spent some time getting his sound fucking perfect, because that shit bumped, man. That's so dope. You mentioned Vanilla Ice.
I mean, but I think Vanilla Ice is dope, but that's just me, and that's the thing about us. We're supposed to be individuals. We like what we like.
Did you hear the new Vanilla Ice song with Violent J?
No, I actually have plans to do a reaction video to that somewhere down the line.
I just found out about that like 2 days ago. I had no idea. That shit's been out since New Year's Eve.
Well,
I just found out about that.
Well, if you haven't heard it, if you want, like, I don't know if you saw, but I do guess sometimes are going to start having guest reactors when I react to shit. If you want to be a special guest reactor and react to that shit, let me know.
If I hadn't heard it, I would take you up on that, but I literally listened to it in the car earlier, so it would be a fake reaction.
I have plans to, but I do love some of Vanilla Ice's shit. Like, a lot of people just think Ice Ice Baby is his good song, but
you got a fire new metal album.
I mean, I've delved deep. He has other fire ass shit, like Insane Killas, what he did with ICP.
Yeah, that's off of shit called Bipolar, which is like one album's like a new metal album and one album's like all rap shit. I actually bought that shit back in the day too. From that same CD store I bought all those ICP CDs from. So you can tell Vanilla Ice does have some pretty good bangers. No, he's definitely talented, man. I'm like I said, he's one of the best things I saw in 2021 as well, man. Straight up. Yeah, I'm trying to think, other than the clowns, what really blew me away that year. And it might straight up be Vanilla Ice. Yeah, I mean, I always tell people this because it's true. I'm like, I knew I was fucking old, but after seeing Vanilla Ice and knowing how many songs I knew about him, now I feel fucking old. Yeah, big facts. Ninja rap and shit, bro. All right, Don. What else we got tonight? What else we got on the docket? You got any more questions for me, my guy? I mean, people want to know our thoughts on, like, apparently Jay came out and talked about a farewell tour, because I know people like to tune into me and you and talk about our thoughts. Where did he talk about that? I know. I've heard people been saying that all night. Where did he say that, y'all? Can somebody say something online? Yep. Y'all are gonna watch me check my sources right now, aka ICP on Twitter.
Yeah, because I don't even know where he said it. People are just been saying it in the chat. I haven't checked social lately.
Nothing on Twitter. All right, ICP on Instagram. Was that War Games announcement? Violent J is going to be in a War Games match.
Hell yeah.
Throwback shit.
You know, and I think it's funny how people are giving shit Jay wrestling for his age now. I'm like, who gives a shit? There's a lot of other wrestlers that are still wrestling that are still kicking ass.
People who are saying that have not watched any of those. Bash reported it. Are you fucking kidding me? Again, Relic? This is happening again? All right, well, it's not real. If Bash reported it, it's not real. Fuck. Where was I going with that? Oh, Violent J in wrestling. Anyone who's worried about Violent J and his return to wrestling, you clearly haven't watched any of these matches. The Duke is mostly doing pretty safe style wrestling. It's a lot of brawling. It's a lot of older wrestling. Wrestler style wrestling. It's not that big of a deal. The moonsault is literally the craziest thing he's done in the ring since his return, and it's the only time he's ever done it. I think that's a one-off. I don't think maybe he's gonna try it again. I don't know. But I think he's probably hesitant to try it again after how it went, obviously. But if you even saw that match, the video of it doesn't look as crazy as the photograph.
Well, yeah,
and he gets right up.
And I understand how wrestling works because I used to be involved in the wrestling business. So I know the ins and outs of the wrestling business too. And that's one thing I've always loved about Jay and Shaggy. For guys who didn't have any personal training experience, they're pretty trained at wrestling.
Relic, are you saying that Cody's mad about something? Cody Manson's mad about something that Bash did?
Again, about that,
boy.
I mean, who knows?
None of my business.
And that's why we're going to come out here, y'all. Me and Humble Among, I'm going to say it, fuck it. We're not Juggalo TMZ, y'all. Just saying, some people.
Well, I'm a little bit of that. I'm just like a sprinkle.
No, you're not.
I'm like a sprinkle of that occasionally.
Nah,
just a
you're not.
Sprinkle of it. But the very tiniest, like a pinch. I'm a pinch of that. God, that's fucked up. But Bash needs to be careful, man. That's what I mean. The last episode I just did was basically a warning about doing this kind of shit. He needs to be careful, bro. Man, oh boy. All right. Better left unsaid. You know what I mean, Don Chaos? And that's, I'll say it this way. That's why I have so much respect for people like you, for people like Mikey Sears and Jug Talk, for people like Team MUJ, who keep it really positive and really on some real fam shit, not just some fake fam shit for, I don't know what, clicks, views, whatever the fuck. You guys really keep it fucking down for us.
Well, and the reason why I never touch on people's personal stuff, if there's an article out there about that artist, but yes, they may post stuff in a status, but at the end of the day, y'all, yes, it's out there for the world to see, but you guys have a brain. At least some of us do. It's all up to you to decide if you want to touch on it or not. I may see an artist post some personal stuff, but I won't talk about everything. For example, if Jay did get injured and he's in the hospital and he makes a post saying, I just got hurt, keep me in your thought and prayers. Yes, I will cover something like that. But if an artist is just, or group, someone is just ranting online and stuff.
But if he literally does the opposite almost and says, I am okay, don't worry.
Exactly. But
maybe pay attention to that and not say the exact opposite.
Exactly. But at the end of the day, I have gotten to know the ins and outs with some of these people. I know people that have worked with Psychopathic, and I have those deep connections. At the end of the day, I choose not to cover on some stuff because I still have a thing called respect for people's fucking privacy, even if they're airing their dirty laundry. At the end of the day, y'all, it's up to you to decide. And the whole point of this show is to drop news, promote people, up and coming people that people know, and then people that do know, and it's to give back to the community, and it's to say my thoughts on stuff in this community that we care and love. That is all. The whole point of this show is for y'all. This is the people's show.
Facts, bro. And hey, I appreciate you, Don Chaos. I really do, man. Thank you for having me on here, by the way, Don. I know this is kind of a long time coming. We've like circled each other in messages before and talked about doing this, but thank you for actually like having me on and shit. This shit's dope.
Hell yeah. And I thought that was dope that when I remember when I won my award, you were one of the people like to give me props, and even Frankie Goldie. Yeah, well, Frankie Goldie's even like done this. He's like, anyone who didn't think that Don deserves that award, fuck you.
Hell yeah. You did deserve that award, man.
And that's what me and Humble and everyone else, we want to bring more of this community. We uplift each other and help each other out.
Because, like, that's the thing that I don't understand. Like, a lot of motherfuckers treat creativity or art as, like, competition.
I know, and I hate that.
I mean, I don't get that, but I also, like, didn't grow up playing sports and shit.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I don't know. I just am not, to me, art is, like, so, everything's in its own lane so much that it's like, well, why the fuck? Like, why even, like, worry about what's going on in that lane? Like, just worry about your lane. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's just the way I kind of look at it. I look at it as, like, and it's not a race, you know what I mean? Like it's we're both going somewhere. Maybe this motherfucker likes to drive a little bit faster. Maybe I'm a drive slow type of homie. My metaphor is really falling apart here.
Well, that's the whole point of like
art is subjective, no rules. What Acetone says. Shouts out to Acetone.
Yeah, and the whole point is I tell people that's why the whole point about juggalos, when people always ask me if you could describe the definition of a juggalo, what would you say? I'm like, we are individuals. We like have people from all walks of life, but we still have morals. And I think that's where some of the new people are getting that confused. People are like, whoa, you guys say you're accepting them. Like, we are, but we have morals.
Yeah.
We accept everyone, but the only people we don't accept are pedophiles,
bad
racists,
people, sickos,
and just bigots in general.
Yeah.
I was like, but if you're like an outcast of society, like if you were considered the nerd in school, the geek, or just like if you were the goth kid, or just those social outcasts, like subgenres of people, that's what it is.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
And I know juggalos who've come from like country, small town living background. Does that automatically mean that they may be a redneck? Yes, but the thing is, I've learned that even not all rednecks are racist.
Oh, that's definitely true. But
a percentage of them, yes, are, yes, in no sense.
Bro, you want to hear something crazy? So I live up here in Vermont, right? Mm-hmm. So Vermont is thought of by a lot of people as being a very liberal state. You know, Bernie Sanders is from Vermont and all this shit. So, but the reality of it is that Vermont has a lot of rednecks who make racism and, I don't know, being a Trump mark like their personality and shit. Yes. And I know that shit exists all over the country, but it's especially funny up here in the north. But I mean, that's the thing about Vermont is it's like very rednecks meet hippies. So you get like, you get someone who very much looks like a granola hippie, but might just casually say a couple of fucking slurs or say some unsavory stuff about trans people that I have to politely ignore and walk away from. Shouts out to my day job.
Yeah, and that's one thing I always loved, like, and that's why my other all-time favorite Ouija Mac song that I say is literally a Juggalo anthem is the song Understand Us, where he's like, they will never understand us. Yeah, I was like, that is literally a Juggalo anthem.
Don, what do you have to say about motherfuckers that hate on Ouija Mac?
I mean, I think because people don't understand him. I think it's hypocritical when I hear people that are hypocritical saying, oh, he just raps about nonsense and crazy stuff. And then these same people listen to ICP, who's known for rapping about crazy nonsense too.
People say, like, I just don't get it, because all of the arguments against Ouija, to me, only highlight the fact that these motherfuckers never listened to Ouija.
I know,
like,
and I've even told people, yes, he has crazy off the top of the wall shit. You know this, but if they dig deep like ICP,
that's the wicked shit.
If they dig deep, he has some real serious stuff. He talks about battling mental abuse and stuff, or depression. I can relate to that shit. I always, when I hear Ouija's like personal shit, I'm like, Jesus, if he was around during my teenage years, this would have been like the music for my teenage years. Jesus.
Yeah. You know what a song I really relate to that's on from Ouija that's on that tip is that Route 17. That Route 17 joint.
Yeah, that is that song.
Yeah, that one hits different for me because I feel like if you look into like the meaning behind of like the numerology nerd shit about the number 17, a lot of it is about being on like a different path or a new path or a positive path. And I feel like when I got sober, and this might be it might just be me, but I feel like I was seeing 17s everywhere, dude. Like
Same.
everywhere.
I mean, and that's funny how even before I got into ICP, they're synonymous, and the whole juggling thing is synonymous with the number 17. Ironically, 17, before I knew about that, is one of my lucky numbers.
Bro, and like I coincidentally realized I got sober on May 17th. So even like my sobriety date is like a 17. So I don't know if you can see, I got like a 17 right here on my fucking, I don't know if you can fucking see it. That's like a sobriety tattoo. That's not even like, I got it in jug colors, but that's actually like a sobriety tattoo. That kind of doubles as like a jug tattoo because it's like 17 and carnival shit. But that's like, 17's like really important to me. Not just on some like juggalo shit, just on some like I don't know, like following the right path. Like I'm almost at this point, like when I see a 17, I take that shit as a good omen. Like for real. Like I really see that and I'm like, that's good. I'm glad I saw that. Because that's like a reassuring thing. And that's superstitious maybe a little bit, but I do fucking, I believe in that shit.
Oh yeah, I'm that type of person too, where I don't just see numbers as numbers. I dig into like to the deep meaning of them.
Yeah. That numerology shit will fuck you up.
It is like, if you could like literally like ask like your Alexa or Google, like you should say, what's the deep meaning for so-and-so? Like if you have your birthday like on like the 1st of like August, you would say, what's the personality traits of someone born August? And you say whatever date, and it's crazy the shit that comes up.
Yeah. So Don, it's been almost 2 hours. I gotta get off of here pretty soon because it's almost 10 o'clock. Is there any final questions? Way you want to wrap this up? I've had a fucking blast on here, by the way.
Well, first and foremost, thank you for coming on. Again, you're always welcome on the show. Like if you're like putting out like new music or anything, or you want to come on just in general, you're always welcome back on anytime, man.
100%, man. 100%. I definitely will hit you up when I have some stuff I'm looking to drop. Saw Relic asking about new music stuff. I am recording music. I'm trying to figure out how I want to drop these projects that I'm working on right now. But I think basically what you can expect is some like producer specific EPs or mixtapes. I don't know what you want to call them, coming from me. Hopefully all this year is kind of the plan right now. Definitely trying to do some producer specific EPs with a couple of different producers. This week I was working on a collab with Bridget Bites. Shouts out to Bridget Bites. Over an Androponics beat. Shouts out to Androponics. So that's like really exciting. I just sent that over to Bridget last night. She seemed to dig it. So hopefully y'all will hear that pretty soon. I have a couple of other collabs that are floating out in the Juggalodium that have not been released yet. If you want to collab on a song, I'm not trying to charge a bunch of money or anything. Definitely like hit me up if you want to work on something. I'm not like snobby or trying to charge a bunch of money. I actually like really like collabing on stuff. Yeah, hit me up on that shit. Yeah, bro, I don't know. I got into like promo shit. I hate promoing myself, so now I'm feeling shy and backing away from it. So please take the reins again, Don Chaos.
Well, hell yeah. Thank you for joining, man. And I always see you in the chat. When I do see you in the chat, I really appreciate it, man.
Hey, man. Thank you for doing everything you do for the Jug community, man. It really is appreciated.
Always.
Any more final questions? Or if you got any more questions, I'm more than happy to answer questions.
Oh, that's right. I guess I should ask that question because people always seem to like when we ask our guests this question. Top 5 albums on an island. So you're going on a desert island.
Okay.
And which top 5 albums are you taking with you? Or better yet, whose like artists or groups discography are you taking with you?
Ooh, see, those are like 2 different questions.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. I'm gonna try to answer it album. I mean, if I'm talking discographies, ICP's number 1.
Yeah,
that's an easy one. I think it's harder. I think it's a little harder if I do specific albums, so I'm gonna try that. Korn, Follow the Leader is on there. Korn's discography, by the way, would be on that shit too. Let's see, Korn, Follow the Leader. Fuck. We only got 5. Oh man. Slipknot, self-titled. Trying to pick an ICP record. ICP's Hell's Pit. So we got 3. We gotta get some Ouija on there. Ouija's Stale Wind.
Yes.
Fuck. So we gotta think of one more. Fuck, bro. What's something? Oh, Grand Buffet's 5 Years of Fireworks. We'll do that.
Great
Just
picks.
get real obscure. Oh shit, Limp Bizkit too, though. Fuck.
Yeah.
Sorry, Grand Buffet, we just kicked you out for Limp Bizkit. Fuck, which Limp Bizkit though? It's got to be one of those first 2. Oh, I'm probably gonna have to go Significant Other, man. All right, so we're gonna do Significant Other as the 5th one. Fuck. Oh, what a weird list. I guess it's not that weird when I really think about it. Oh, there's no Darby on that list though either. See, that's the problem with doing a 5-album thing, bro.
Yeah.
You're always gonna leave shit out. I'm gonna stick with that 5 though.
I know.
Stick with that 5.
Yeah, I always do the same shit too. I'm like, damn it, I should have said that. Because I have like a long list of albums like that I love that it is hard to like name like a top 5.
Bro, there's no Esham on that list too. Fuck.
Yeah.
I guess if I'm going discographies, I can do that real quick. I would do ICP, Ouija Mac, Esham, Korn. Fuck. Who's the 5th one? Darby. Fuck it. We'll just do Darby too.
Those are great choices. Hell yeah. Well, yeah, man. You definitely have a good night. Again, you're always welcome back on the show.
Thank you for having me, Don Chaos. Whoop, whoop. Thank you, everybody who tuned in. Make sure you hit the like gimmick, the subscribe gimmick, and send Don Chaos a bunch of donations to get him to the gathering this year. Don Chaos, what's your PayPal?
I do actually have it on the banner, which
there you go.
On the screen. It's kind of funny, but like I said, no one has to do it, but that's one thing me and Lady Chaos definitely want to do is I want to do that for her. I want to take her to her first gathering.
There it is. Don Chaos at DT Galeros. Am I saying that right?
Galeris.
At
yes,
Yahoo?
y'all. That is my
at
last
Yahoo?
name.
Was that a Yahoo?
Yes, I still use Yahoo.
All right. I got one question and then we'll close it out. How long have you had that email address?
Yeah, I actually know this. I've actually had that email address since I was about 15 or 16.
Fuck yeah, that's fresh as shit, Don. I still got my my Hotmail linked to my fucking PayPal. So my Hotmail is fucking, actually I better not say that because I don't want anyone fucking around with that Hotmail account, but
yeah, people probably be sending you weird shit and you're like,
well, I don't know. I got some weirdos out there, Don Chaos, that like I got trolls, Don Chaos. I don't know if you know about that. There's some real weird motherfuckers in the Juggalodium who, I don't know, they be trying to do some weird shit out there. Shouts out to you weird motherfuckers out there.
Yeah, you
weirdos.
Or you fucking goofy ass motherfuckers.
Yeah, big facts, fucking goofies, fucking doofies. All right, anyway. I'm getting off of here, Don. Thank you for having me, homie.
Hell yeah. Later.
Love you, dog. Whoop whoop.
Whoop whoop. Love you too. Hell yeah, y'all. That was fucking dope. So yeah, this was actually very, very great episode. So I'm gonna go ahead and end the show. You guys know, like and subscribe. Shout outs to my sponsors, Blind Death Clothing, down below. Check them out. So again, if you're for Juggalos, buy Juggalos, and you like Lazy and Crazy, which is for Juggalos, by Juggalos, check out my sponsors, Blind Death Clothing. That's for Juggalos, by Juggalos too. So go check out my sponsor down below. Get yourself some Blind Death swag. And there is an official Don Chaos store now down below. So go get yourself some Don Chaos strip. Peep the links all down below. For our guests, Humble Among, again, thank you for coming on, Humble Among. We'll definitely have to do a part 2 of this. So yeah, you guys know, like and subscribe, all that good happy jazz. You know, you guys motivate me for doing this, and definitely shout out to my big inspiration, Lady Chaos. She's the reason why I keep doing this as well. It's you guys. The 3 inspirations that make me keep doing this, y'all, is you guys, Lady Chaos, and my love for this community. In no particular order. But if there ever was a number 1, Lady Chaos is the reason why I do this too. She's one of the people that really keeps me going as well. And I love you, babe. Again, you guys know, like and subscribe. Peep the links down below. Peep all. There's also links down to where you can see past episodes of the Hours of Chaos podcast. Because trust me, there's some other very dope show interviews too that some of y'all probably didn't even know about. There's a lot of gems there. So yeah, I will see you guys later. Appreciate you guys. I'm going to go chill with Lady Chaos. And maybe I'll go live tomorrow just for like a hangout session. Yeah, again, we are live every Thursday from at 8 p.m. Eastern, every Thursday. And this year, we are going to be celebrating the Hours of Chaos podcast. Been going strong. The Hours of Chaos podcast has been going strong for about 6 or 7 years, y'all. So we're definitely going to do a big stream for that. So if anyone ever does want to be a guest on there, let me know, because I really want to. That is definitely a milestone, especially when it comes to, you know, podcasts and the underground or Juggalo scene. 6 or 7 years, y'all. That's a long time. So yeah, you guys are dope. Appreciate you guys. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. Check all the links in the description. And yeah. And I'm starting to really get the munchies now, y'all. So I'm going to go get some food later, y'all. Appreciate you guys. Again, make sure everyone knows about the Hours of Chaos podcast. Tell them they should fucking know. Spread the word. Let's uplift each other, y'all. Because this is what we're going to do. Uplift each other. So yeah, y'all. Deuces, y'all. Whoop, whoop.